All right, this is a lesson on Crazy on You by Heart. It's got this awesome intro by Nancy Wilson. So that's just the very first piece. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we got 2 to 4 in the G, to the 3 on the B string, and then we're going to go a quick slide down to the 2 and 1 chord from this chord right here. So we pull off to the opens, and then we hit the G again. So we got, and then we settle into a thing where we're going to have an A bass and an A note here on the 2nd fret of the G string. So we have the 5th string and 3rd string. And then we hit another bass note. And here we have a double pull off, 3 to 1 to open on the B string to the 2 on the G. So we have, and then we're going to go. So that's the A bass with this 1st fret of the 2nd string into the 2 on the G. So, and then the bass note again, and then we're going to take this 2 and slide it to the 4 and the D. So we got, so once we slide into this 4, we have the open G, and then we have the A twice, and this is a swing feel type of thing on this. So we have bass, bass, and then the 4s on the D and G strings, another bass, and then we have the little the 5s in the middle 5s to the 4s to the open, and that's a triplet right there. So we got, and then we kind of get back, we have 2 bass notes. Now that time we're going to go from the A to the D string, and then we're going to go 3, 2, 2, 5th string going down. And that's the 2 on the 5th and the 1 on the 3rd to the E bass. So let's look at that newer stuff. We had 2 bass notes. Okay, so let's do everything again. Okay, then we're going to slide into the 5 and the 4 there, hit the open E, 4 and 2, open E again. And this is a triplet. We're going to have the 2 hammering in. We have a 2 on the 5th with an open on the 3rd, hammering into the 1. Big bass, and then we're going to have another triplet. And this is going to be 3 in the bass with open on the D and 4 here on the G. And we're going to pull off to the 2 and the open. So it's like a double pull off there with the G bass. And it's also got that D string in it too. Okay, so this new part is, okay, so it's tricky stuff here. That's kind of one of the hardest parts. And then we're back into some A's. So that one was kind of a repeat of earlier. Then we're going to have the 2 with this bass. This one's a little new. We're going to have, so that's kind of normal, into the 4, G string, A, but then we're going to have open and 4 on the G. And you could kind of do this shape here to get ready for it. So it's like A string with G string to the D string to the A. And then we got to hit this 4 and 3, 4 on the G, 3 on the B. So we got, and then we're going to have open to the 4 and the G, and then we're going to have a pull off. So we got open A with 5 and 3 to open. And then we have the A string with the little 5. And that's a triplet. It's like 1, these are the open strings, D, G, and B. And then the harmonic on the 12th. So it's 1 and that type of feel there. Okay, so let's go from this. that, back to double bass. Same stuff there. Now here we're going to the open D, and then we're gonna go. So two triplets there. Open to 5 to 4, open to 3 to 2, 2 more bass, to the D bass right there, and then we have. So we have a new riff, and we get rid of our swing. So we have the big 3, and then the G string, then little E, 3 1 0 2 0. So once again, that was. Now we're gonna go 2 down here in the bass. So we have bass, and then 3 1 0 to the 2 on the G, and then we have the bass again with that 2. So kind of best to leave it like that. And then we have the 2 open G, and then we have an E7 thing coming in, or an E major thing. Okay, so that was big E, and then it was 5th and 3rd strings, and we have the 2 and the 1 from an E7 here. So we got open 2 1, and then the next 2 strings opens, and then 1 and open, and back to opens, back to 2 1. And then we have D string with 6th fret of 2nd string. So we got that D with that, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna do 5 6 5, pull off to the open, 5 on the G, 5 3 on the B string. So 5 to 4 to 6 on the D to the big E right there. So that's your whole intro. A whole lot of stuff going on that. Okay, so that's kind of your first part. Then we got. Next part, and then we got this sliding into here. We got. So that was kind of the same as before. Moving on, we got. Okay, and then moving on. Got those triplets. And then we're ready to move on. Okay, now we're into the rhythm. Okay, so we have A minor, dun da da dun da da dun da da dun dun. So that's kind of on an upbeat. That's the F there, and I'm just muting that big one and doing this rest of an F. So. To the G. So that second time we're gonna hit that G at the end, and then the new riff comes in. We got that cool riff. So we're gonna look at that in a second. But first we have this rhythm. We have 3 4. A minor, F, A minor, F, to the G, A minor, F, A minor, F again, and then A minor, G, to the F. Okay, then we're into a verse. Now that riff was A, and then 2-0 in the D, 3-2-0 on the A string to that big F. So we got, and then hit the 3, back to the A. Now this time we end on that 3, we come back to the 1, and then boom, boom, and we're into a verse. So once again, those. Okay, we're into a verse. We got A minor to C. D minor 7, open on the D, 2, 1, 1. Then we have an E7, 0, 2, 0, 1, 3, open. A minor, C, D minor 7, E7, and then we got these cool hits. We got, so we have 14, 13, and 12, which is an A minor top. We got 2 hits there, and then we're gonna go, this is a D shape, so that's 14, 15, 14. So we have a pull off in the little 17 to 14, then we hit the G string 14, and then we pull off that second string. So we kind of do it twice, then we kind of hit the top of the chord. So it's, okay, then we're into F, G, C, F, and then longer on the D minor 7 to the E7. And then we're back to the big riff. Next verse, C, D minor 7, E7. Always does that twice. And then we got the, okay, then we're back in the F to G, F to the G, and C to the F, D minor 7, E7. Then we got our chorus again. Hold that for a second. Now we're going to get into a modulation. We're going to have an F sharp minor 7. So the same kind of chugging, kind of galloping rhythm, one measure each. So we're going to go from this one down to this B minor 7. We're going to go up 2. We're going to have a D. We're going to go back and forth between those a few times. Then we're going to come back to this one. And then we're going to have a cool little riff at the end of that. So our chords, once again, F sharp minor 7, 2, 3, 4. Down to B minor 7, C sharp minor 7 to D, C sharp minor 7 to D again, C sharp minor 7, B minor 7 twice. And then we have this riff. Okay, so it's a hammer-on pull-off here in the 9, 10, and 9 to the 10, and then we pull off that one, then we pull off this higher one, and then repeat it, and at the end, kind of slide that chord down. 3, 4, 1. Now we got an E, E7. Keep letting that E7 build. We're back to our big riff. And of course that also goes with the strumming chords there. Okay, then we're into another verse. So we would have that riff. Of course that plays out with those rhythm chords. So once again, our verse, A minor to C, we got D minor 7, E7, and we do that twice, then we're back into the chorus. So that time the chorus kind of keeps going. It doesn't have the riff, that kind of stuff to stop us, so it just kind of repeats itself with that chorus riff. Eventually it's going to end on an A minor. We're going to go back into those modulation chords, and there's a little quick solo in there. So once again, those chords. Okay, so let's look at that solo there we got. So it's big 2, 4, 5, and then 2, 4. We're gonna go up to 7 and then the 5 on that one. Kind of slide from the 4 to the 7, then hit the 5, and then we've got. So we have a 4, 5, 7, 4, 6 to 9 to 7. So we got. Now this one, 6, 7, 9, up to the 9 to 7. So this one's 6, 7, 9 on the G, 7, 9, 12, 10, and then we're gonna bend this. So we're bending the 10 up with a little 10 underneath it, taking it down. Kind of an extra one on that. And then we're back into our. And then we got the E7 build. And then we're back to the big riff. All right, this is Magic Man by Heart. This has got some great riffs in it all through the tune. So we're gonna start out with a G5 power chord. We got. Okay, so we got that happening. We also have a little intro solo. This is a backwards guitar solo, but it kind of comes out like this if you play it normal, like. We got 18th fret on the second string, little vibrato, 15 to 18 and bend it, and then 18, 15, 17 to 15 there, so. And then we're going 14, 15, 17, and then 15, 17 with a bend, 15, 18 with a bend. So once again, we got. Okay, then we're gonna get back to our main rhythm. So we're gonna have the G5 power chord. We're gonna have. You can kind of hit an upstroke if you want to give it a little pick scratch there. So 2 sets of that is 1 measure. We have 6 measures. So right off the top, that backwards guitar solo starts. So here we go, 3, 4. Okay, and then the next 2 start for the verse. Okay, so that F went 1 and. Okay, so the first 2 is the 1 and, but all the rest are the and. So and of 2, and of 3, all the way through 2 measures of that. Now there's another chord that comes in that rakes in backwards. This is a F6-9 chord. So it's got the 3-3 and the 5th and 4th strings like from an F power chord, but it's got these other notes. It's got G and D and G, and G is the 9. The 9 is like the 2 of a scale, right? So G is the 9 of F, D is the 6 of F, so this is a F6-9, kind of a fancy chord. Yeah, we don't even really need to hit the bass note F on this one. We can hit these other notes because you got another chord doing that in the bass guitar and stuff. So backwards rake on that, 3-3, open, 3-3. So once again, from a verse, we got. we're gonna have a triplet real quick into a new measure with a B flat chord. So we'll have a boom, 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 boom. F, G, 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 so that is a F on the 1, and then a 4 E. You hit the F again. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 E, G, 2, 3, 4 E. Couple B flats there. And there's a couple guitars. One of them seems like it's going dun, 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 dun. The other one kind of comes in like 1 and 2 and 3. So listen for that. You can kind of do what you want there. Got eighth notes there. And then we're back to. Now here we have a little fill. So we bend the little 6, take it down kind of slow to that 3, and then bend the 6 on the second string up. And then we're into a new verse. Obviously that's 2 guitars. E minor, F, okay, some more B flat and C. So we had new chords in here. E flat is 6, 8, 8, 8. Same thing with the 1, 2, 3, 4 E. And then we had E minor, which you could do down here, or you could do it up here next to your E flat. Either way, 7, 9, 9, 8, 7. Or open 2, 2, and open 2. So let's go from that F on that. We got 3, 4. E flat, E minor, F, G, B flat, and. All right, now we're moving into the solo section. We're gonna have a little bit added to this rhythm on this G power chord. So we got. 1, 1, 1, 3. So that's 1 on the big string, 3 on the 5th string. 1, 1, 1, 3. Now the other thing we have later on, like halfway through the thing, is so that's 3 on the 5th, big 1, and then 3 to 3 down on the 4th here. So. And then we have a riff. Okay, so that's 5, 5, 5, 5, D to A strings. And then 3, 2, O on the D, and then 3, O, 1, 2, 3 on the A string there. So we got. Okay, then we have another rhythm coming in. We have. Okay, so this is a rest on the first 8th note. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Kind of do a little bend on that 5th fret. So it's 3s and 5s on the 5th and 4th string. And then take it down a string. 3s, 5s, 3s. Got your bend. And then you're going to have, at some point, you're going to have. So you wait a while and you have the F power chord, F sharp power chord back up. And then later we're going to have a. So that was 1, 3 to the F power chord. So. Back to chorus. Okay, here goes a cool little lead here with a little half step bend. We got. So we're bending the second string, 5th fret. Kind of up and down. Pull off to the 3 and then go to the 3 on that 3rd string. And then 3, 5, kind of a slow bend, half step. Going down to that 6. And we pull off this, go 3 to 3 there. So we got. We're gonna do that twice. And then we have. So that's 7 to 5, 5, 3, 3, 2, 3, 5 on the D. And then we have that cool riff. So it's a tricky riff. It's a quick hammer on. And this is as close as I got to figuring it out. I couldn't really find a great tab on this. Everything looked kind of bogus, you know. So it'd be like a hammer on, 6 to 7 on the G, 6, 6, double pull off there on the second string, 9, 8, 6. And then you have 5 on the G to the 6 here. Got to bend that 3 up, come up to the 8 and bend that one. And then at the end of that, kind of finish on that and you go. So that was a 10, 11, 10, 11. You can kind of slide into the first one. So that's 13, 11, 10 to 10 on the G. And then 7, 8, 9, 10 on the D. Hit those 15s down there. Do a big bend on the 20 on the second string. Then we got. So those are 6s. Something like that in there. And then we got this. So that's a great riff. So we got 6, 3, 0 to the 6 of the second string. 6, 3, 0 to the 5. And then 5, 3, 0 to the 5. Quarter step bend on that 3. All right, then we have some other solo stuff. We have. Okay, that leads into a chorus. So that was a trill on the open and 3 on the G string. Then we come up to the 17th fret. To the 15, to the 18 on the second. 18, 15, 18. And then 20 up here. Now there's a little harmony thing that comes in. Okay, so that's 14 and 13 on the G and B. And then up to 16, 15. And then 12, 11 to little 11s. 16, 15 to 12s. Little 12s. 17, 15. 13, 14. 13s and back. Up to 15, 15. 15, 13. 15s to 17s. Okay, then we're going to have a thing. She kind of sings and a guitar note kind of comes in on that 8th fret. Then we have. So we got 20th fret, pulling off to 18. Same thing here. And then we go down to the 17th fret here. So we go. So we do this one and pull it off. Go to the 17 here, 13 over here. And then we have the octaves of the G. So 17 and 15. So we got. that a big ratty kind of middle strings chord come out. We do that kind of again. Then we're going to bend this 20. Kind of got an 18 and 17 here. All right, this is Barracuda by heart. We got this main A riff that's going to happen a lot of times. It's like a galloping type of rhythm. Okay, so we have this dun 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 dun. That's our part A. So that's a E power chord. It's like down, 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 down. The B part is going to continue that galloping rhythm, but it's going to end with a F sharp to G power chord. So it's okay. So your A part is just the chug, and it gets into the B part. B part ends with that. We got the bottom 3 strings, harmonics on the 12th fret, and then we go up to where the 24th fret would be. So it's like right above those screws above my pickup here. And you'll have some kind of whammy bar, vibrato and stuff, some kind of like, you'll kind of dive the whammy bar here and there. So we got. Wah, wah. Go down on the 12th fret, kind of descending little slide. Second time, kind of just hit the 4 bottom strings open, and then you wait a second, hit the 12s on the G and B strings, and kind of take your whammy bar down on that one. Third one is just those 12s there with a slide with that 12th fret. Fourth one, just like the 3 bottom opens, and then those couple of 12s again. Now we're into a verse. So the verse is going to go A part twice. So that's 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a. So there's an extra beat there. So it's 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a. So 1 extra beat there to give 1 more kind of a chug on that. Then we got a C power chord here. And we're going to wait till the end of this and go. We got 2 hammer-ons, 7s on the D and G into 9s. So we had 2 more sets of A before we start the next verse line. So the whole thing running together would be 3, 4. Start again. 1. Now we're into the pre-chorus. We're going to go. So that was a 3 and 5 on the A and D to a 2 and 5 to a A note up here, 5th fret of the E string, and that kind of slides down on the E power chord. So it's. So this line is 7, 9, 10 to 9. 7, 5 to 3, so it's and then later on page 2 I have the harmony of that. So one line goes 7, 5, 3, and the one that goes with it in harmony is 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 2, 0. Okay, then we got D power chord, open 2, 3 down here, to A power chord. And then we're going to have the chorus is going to be just like the beginning part. And then we have a harmonic solo. So this is going to go. So we got little 12, first string to third, second to fourth, third to fifth. And then you come back to the two middle strings, D and G on the 12s there. So it's. And you got a 5 on the second string to a 5 on the third string. Then we're into another verse. I'm going to kind of skip over that. Now this verse has a trill. So that's open and 2 on the D string. And then we're back into the pre-chorus. Okay, now we're going to have a chorus 2 is going to go. So at the end of that, we have a G into A power chord, 3, 5, 5, up 2 frets, and then jump down, D into E power chord, 5, 7, 7, up 2. So we got. So we do that twice, and then we get into this holding a C to an A, and then we're back to that. Back to C, A. Now there's going to be another riff that goes with that we'll talk about towards the end that's on page 3 of the tabs. So then we get into a thing that's going to have. So dun 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 dun. F sharp power chord, G power chord, A power chord. Do that twice. So 2, 3, and. So we could use the 2 and 4 here, kind of with that low power chord for our E, and then you'll use that same shape, starting on the 4th to the 5th to the 7th. So 4, 6, 5, 7, 7, 9. Okay, so we're going to do that a couple times, and then we have a lead starting. Okay, so we have a little bend on this 15th fret of the second string. And then you're going to bend it down, pull off to the 12. A little half bend on that 14 on the small string. And then hit that one more time, and then we go. So these are, first two are staccato notes. Bump, bump, B. 14, 15, 17 on each of those strings. So we got. And then 14, 15, 16 on the G string. We have the 12s, 14s, 12s a couple more times. And then there's like a quick thing from 4 to like 12 right here. Then we have a little 14 on the second string, half stepper up and down. Pull off to the 12, 14 on the D. So it's like. And then there's a little thing. This is kind of a weird one to hear, but it's like little 15, and then 17, 15, pull that off on the second string. Back to the chord of those 17, 15. Couple of pull-offs. Little 14 on the G. Those two 12s, G and B. And you got a pick scrape coming up in there too. So then we're back to a pre-chorus. D. And you can get a harmonic on the 3rd fret of that A string there, kind of by just in the middle of the fret, and they kind of have the whammy bar pop in on that one. So then we're going to be back to the main part. And then it kind of has a riff. Kind of goes 3, 5. It's kind of hard to hear. It's not really important, I don't think. But that's kind of a riff there. And then it starts an interlude, which is 12, 15, 12 on the bottom 3. This interlude here has a second part that does a harmonic solo again. So we got. So 7th fret G string, and then 12, 12 on G to B, back to 7 on the G, and then just the 12 on the B, and then 7 on the D. So that's like ding, boom, bing, boom, and that's gonna be 7 on the A to 12 on the G and back. So it's D string, and then that's gonna go again, D, 7, 12, 7, and then we have 5 on the G to 5 on the D, and then 12 to 12 in those bottom two, and then we start this thing, 15 and 12, 14 and 12, and then flip it so it's 13 and 15, and then either 12s or the harmonic on the 12s. We'll do that again. And while that's going, there's another one going like. So one's hitting on the downbeat and one's hitting like after that. Ding, chick-ang. So one hit goes bang, and then you hear a chick-ang coming in after that on each one. So then we have this is the part that just did C to A. Oh, we got to do one more A part here. We got. And that's going to be the outro. That goes with this lower riff. It's pretty cool. It's a measure of 4 and a measure of 3. And they keep going back and forth. Measure of 4, measure of 3. So 5 times of that and you're out. Now there is a fill on this chorus 2 where we just held C and A. And it goes like this. Okay, so 0, 5, 7, 5, 5, 7, 5. That's the first part. And then 5, 7, 5, 7, and then 5, 5, 7 with a slide. So. And this is O2, like an A power chord. And then the other two. And then the last 4 notes are O2, 2, 4 on the A. So it's. Now this last measure, this part goes 2, 4 to the 2 on the G, and then 3, 3, 3, and then pull off. So.